Welcome everyone to another episode of the Kamper Report. I know I said I'd be doing like a once a week Saturday thing, but for the next 2 weeks I've got some time. So next week will also be Wednesday and Saturday as well. But joining us today is a guest that personally one of my favorites. Love talking to Rich Keltz, or Keltz Chronicles. His channel, go subscribe to it, is in the description as well as his Twitter. So go do all of that good stuff. But how are you doing tonight, Keltz? We're gonna break down a lot of 49ers topics that are on a lot of our minds, a lot of people's minds. And yeah, it should be a fun hour or whatever.
Yeah, man, I'm doing good. Another day, another blessed day, another day of no lack of 49ers content.
Yeah.
Man, it's good to be chopping it up with you again. A couple things I wanted to compliment you on. I don't think I've ever talked to you about your intro. I just like the vibe of the music. You know, the little what is it? What would you call it? Instrumental. I love the
Yeah.
little vibe of it. I've always meant to let you know that. And then on top of it, that's a little bit different of a hat, and I think it's pretty clean, man. That's a. I don't
I
think.
got this. Yeah, I got this at a mall and I was seeing and I'm like, that is such a, like, I need to add that to like this hat. I've been meaning to change my background too, but I haven't really gotten to it. So thank you so much.
Hey, those are your like little trophies right there, man. There ain't nothing wrong with that, man. So I mean,
Yeah.
hey, that's you. You know what I'm saying? It's you. It's unique. You know what I'm saying? So, but I did have a hat similar to that, but that one's just different. Like, but when I was younger, bro, man, I wish I could get some of the hats when I was a little kid, because that man, some of those ones in the '90s were straight fire, man. But
True.
that one has a '90s type vibe to it for sure.
Yeah. Well, yeah. First, yeah. I completely agree. But yeah, so let's get into the topics. Um, a lot of, so Chargers played 49ers. Oh, and by the way, I like your hat as well because that is cool. And that background you've got, Dwight, is it that Dwight Clark on your right or left?
Which
The
one? This side?
Yeah, that one. No, other side.
So that's Jerry Rice, man. That's versus the Broncos. When he scored the touchdown in the Super Bowl when we put up 55 points. Yeah, it's an autograph. Jerry Rice, man. He was my all-time favorite. Got
Yeah.
hooked up by my wife, man, because she's the best, man. She hooked me up. I believe it was a Father's Day. She hooked it up. And then over here, it's obviously Joe Montana. That actually came from my wife's grandfather, and he was best friends with a sports journalist that used to cover a ton of Olympics. He covered the 49ers for like 3 decades. If you ever want to check him out, his name is Dave Baronio. Rest in
Okay.
heaven. He passed a few years back. But man, I'm pretty sure these two over here are like one of 100. Like, you know,
Wow.
so yeah, man. So I'll shoot you some information afterwards, man.
For sure.
He's an amazing dude. He was with the 49ers through all their Super Bowls, like knew the family's names. Like, I mean, it's pretty cool, the story of where they come from. And then the one on the bottom, it's like all the greatest 49ers. It's like probably almost 100 dudes on there from the whole entire history,
Dang.
and it's all hand drawn. So like, but you know, it's super cool, man. Blessed to be able to have, you know, stuff like this, or
Wow.
gifts,
I
you
will
know.
check that out.
Hey,
Yeah.
even the microphone's a gift, man. So you know, people are showing me love and just you know, supporting what I'm doing, man. So you know, it's pretty cool. Not knowing that I was gonna kind of do this, I just wanted to
True.
share I was a passionate fan, wanted to share some of my opinions, just like you. Started on the Cone phone, and it's kind of taking a life of its own. So that's pretty dope.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, mine started on the Cone phone as well. I'm trying to get Grant Cone on again. We'll see when that comes together. But real quick before we get into the topics, just quickly go over well, not quickly, but acknowledge these comments. A whole hour. Hi, Benny. It's called Benny's Theme, aka Bin Jamming Theme. um, and then Jay in the Bay.
What's
So
good? What's up, my man Jay? Yee.
what's good, Kamper and Keltz? What's good to you? Uh, let's see. Hold on. let's dive into it. Other show starts in an hour. Otherwise, we require the Cliff Notes rapid fire show. Thanks. Yeah, what's good? G12, hope all is well. Okay. Well, yeah, keep sending in your comments. We'll be here. So anyways, let's get into it. The first topic we have, and I know the 49ers won, and it's great. They beat the Chargers 22-16. But that game, a lot of fans, and me included, and you probably think that that was a little too close. So my thing is, it was definitely not a great offensive. Now, fourth quarter offense came in clutch. They had some great drives, but the red zone offense wasn't very good. And really, the first half, it really wasn't great. First quarter, especially. I was a little worried when on that first drive, which is supposed to be our best drive, we go down and only score a field goal. So I was worried.
Oh yeah.
But so my question is, where are we passing the blame for a not so good Niners offensive performance? And they came in clutch at the end, but like I said, we're very it ebbed and flowed during the game. So what's your thoughts on this?
I was super, super, super frustrated watching the game. I
Yep.
made some keys to the game, and one of my main keys was efficiency in the red zone. And
Yeah.
sure enough, that was a major thing. All right, now there's two things that I'm looking at now that I have some time to like really, cool my jets. Like I feel very optimistic going forward.
True.
Like I was super frustrated during the game, but shortly after, I was on a super positive hype. But I think there's two major factors. Jimmy Garoppolo, we all know he's mid.
True.
I'm not gonna. He's very good at the limitations that he has. He's a mid quarterback. It's going to be harder for a guy like him who's not mobile, a guy like him who has maybe a little bit of a weaker arm to really, you know, throw an absolute bullet like John Elway or Tom Brady when you're down in there in the end zone, So I feel like there's a little bit of trust with Kyle when it comes to Jimmy because of his limitations, which is not a knock to anybody or anything. It just is what it is. I'm pretty sure Kyle was hopeful at this point that Trey Lance would be shining. Could you imagine Trey Lance with red zone efficiency with the CMC and the Debo? So it's
True.
not so it's not like I'm feeling like, hey, it's Jimmy's fault and I'm sick of this crap because it is what it is. I'm grateful that we're in a position to be in this situation to where we're not rolling out a Brian Hoyer or a CJ Beathard or a Brock Purdy. It could be real, real ugly right now.
Yeah.
Who knows what Brock Purdy could be? I'm not going to really even say nothing about him, but I think it's a mixture to get back on point of Kyle Shanahan playing slow. Like this is just his philosophy. So I'm not even upset at it. It's just the way he wants to do things. So he's always slow pace, slow, slow, slow. Every time the play clock is going down to 0, going down to 5, you never see him in a rush. I think part of that is because he wants to limit mistakes, limit penalties, make sure everybody is doing their job and being on point. So he's taking his
Right.
time. So when you have a philosophy that you're going slow and you're running the football, which takes time off of the clock, you're going to have limited opportunities. But when you get in the red zone, 5 times and you only score 2 touchdowns, it's a game of inches. So if one of those, like if Brandon Ayuk catches that touchdown, we might have a whole different tune
True.
just off of 4 more points. All right. So we scored 22, we'd have 26. Maybe we're still a little frustrated,
Yeah.
but just one drop, just a couple of things that don't go right, if a couple more things did go right, maybe we do have 30 points. And maybe we're all like, okay, man, talking a whole different tune. So I think it's just, the mixture of Jimmy being not elite. I'm not gonna say because he's not doing bad at all. He's for who he is, he's doing great. But Jimmy isn't elite, and Kyle Shanahan runs a slow pace offense. So you mix those two factors in, and those are kind of the blames. But I'm kind of looking at McGlinchey too. Like
Yeah.
if McGlinchey is our like one of our weakest links, that's really not horrible. You know what I'm
True.
saying? It's
True.
really, I mean, he has some horrible highlights, right? Or lowlights, whatever we want to call it, horrible highlights. But besides some of those horrible highlights, God, and they're so bad. I'm trying to be positive for it, but if we could eliminate a couple of those bad plays by McGlinchey, even maybe some of the drop balls by Debo, which doesn't
Right.
get talked about a lot. But yeah, man, we're I'm very, very grateful how we were able to win that game because typically in that kind of a game, we've lost this year. So
True.
there's it's a mixed bag for sure. But I would look at the limitations of Garoppolo and the slow pace of Kyle as probably the two biggest reasons why our offense is not scoring as much as we want.
True. And that's a good point. I think going back to like the red zone thing, they were okay. So they were in the red zone like 5 times, 6 times. And in that type of game earlier on, like I think the reason why Kyle was less aggressive during this game, especially in the second half, because he kicked it like what, twice? We were inside the 5 and he kicked a field goal in the second half. I don't know the exact numbers, but I think he trusted his defense enough
Mhm.
saying, hey, like I don't need to push, I don't need to be aggressive in this game. And I think a lot of fans want to nitpick that, but as I've taken a step back, and I did too at first, but as I've taken a step back, I think if it was if he didn't have trust in his defense, I think he might have been a little bit more aggressive. So I think the heat needs to come off of Shanahan a little bit more, and I think the type of game that it was going, I think he trusted his defense enough. And I mean, hats off to D'Amico Ryans, man. This defense, okay, except from the slow start in the first quarter, absolutely incredible in the second half. And again, fourth quarter, like you probably saw this stat. Kyle Shanahan 2 in like 30
Mhm.
when he's down in the fourth quarter. So it was a good game and definitely a heroic fourth quarter, especially those last few drives when I think the second last drive it was 3 straight third downs converted. It was like to Jawan Jennings twice and to Brandon Ayuk once. Just it was nice. So Jimmy played clutch. I just want to see it against maybe a slightly better defense that doesn't have a terrible run game and doesn't have half of its players injured because they were missing JC Jackson. So that's the only thing.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. At great points as well too. I'm sure we'll get into defense. Is that is one of the
Yeah,
topics?
yeah,
So I'll
for
save
sure.
it. I'll save
Yeah,
it.
for sure. And real quick on McGlinchey, that guy was terrible. I think we should bench him. We'll have another topic for that as well. I mean, constantly Khalil Mack. Wow, that was bad. Anyways, but let's move on. Tom Grossi called the 49ers versus Chargers game a real snooze fest. There were parts in
Ooh.
that game, but I don't know. The fourth quarter was pretty exciting, I think.
Yeah, I think Tom Grossi possibly could still. Oh man, how could he not hate the 49ers? Who knows though? Because
He hates them.
he's a funny dude. He's an optimistic dude. So who really knows? But I'm sure he's got to have some bitterness toward
Oh,
the 49ers, like for sure. So that's pretty funny. But it was though. I mean, um, you know, uh, yeah, I'll get into some other things
yeah.
later. I'm sure we'll talk about
Yep.
it.
Yeah, real quick. Hey, Rich, I'm doing a 49ers versus Saints post-game show with Crypto Ryan Benjamin and do you want to be the fifth guest? And I'm trying to have a stacked show.
Yeah,
That's an go
hit
ahead.
me up, my man Chardal. Just hey, like I always tell you, man, you gotta hit me up in the DMs because like if I see it right now, man, I'm not gonna. I got so much going on when it comes to stuff. Just hit me in the DMs, my man.
Yeah.
Hey, it's a rare occasion that I say no. So
Last one. Trey Lance is the biggest bust in NFL history. I believe I've seen you, and last time you said he was a bust. I think I've seen you, Paul lose. So
that's
whatever.
bro. No.
Um,
Yeah, I gotta. Yeah, I'll let you finish though. But
no,
yeah,
go ahead. Go ahead.
man, bro, it's you got to put the Mickeys down, man. You just got to put the Mickeys down. it's or at least if you do have the Mickeys on there, it's got to be you got to hit the mirror button so it says it right. But I wonder what that says backwards. Maybe nothing. But anyways, bro, you cannot say it's like, hey man, you're obviously trolling, or if you
Yeah.
really honestly feel this way, that's just whack. It's like you got to let the kid play, man. You got to
He's
see that.
injured.
You
Give
got
him
to
a
see that.
break.
You got to see the opportunity, man. It's like exactly, bro. Yeah, he's just
Yeah.
hey, man. I don't know what a broken ankle feels like, but it's probably kind of crucial. You know what I'm saying? So, Trey is far from a bust, especially the person he is. So, hey, he's gonna come in. I think he's gonna quiet a lot of people down when he actually gets a consistent opportunity.
I've sprained my ankle and
Hulu.
like I've done it to where like it goes like when you first do it and you land on it, it like goes up your spine, like the nerves, it goes up your
Uh,
spine. It sucks. The worst.
yeah.
Anyways, yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
I've been blessed and lucky, bro. My ankles, I don't know why, but like, you know, man, I've rolled my ankles of ton of. I've played a lot of sports. I've net man. I'm scared to say it, but I've never had an ankle injury, a knee injury. I've broken my hand 3 times, and besides that, like I did hyperextend my back. Yeah, playing football, or not college, high school football. It was funny too because I actually flipped a dude. I flipped him on special teams. It was like my biggest highlight, like, and I injured myself at the same time. So yeah.
dang. So let's get to the title of the show. What are some shock breakout performances? I did get this topic a little bit from Grant Cohn, so shout out to him. But he brought up a good point on his show. What are some of the shock breakout performances on this 49ers team that you really didn't think was going to be like breakout players this year that kind of have proved you wrong? It's interesting to think about. So, what are your players?
Through the whole season, you're talking
Yeah,
just breakout throughout. God, it's
yeah,
hard. It's hard for me because I'm typically that dude. You know, you see me in the off season, I'm over there rooting for Banks. You know, I'm like, hey man, you know, this offensive line, it's gonna be good. Don't trip, don't worry. All three of the B's, the Burford, Brunskill, and Brindle. And then Hufunga. I was going hard for Hufunga. I was like, hey man, Jerry Rice had the same 40 time too. Watch out for Hufunga. I didn't know he was going to be this good, but I was, you know, I made a few posts and said it on multiple shows that this is the year where I feel like a lot of the people who are being viewed as underdogs are being doubted, where I feel like most of them are going to shine. And, you know, so breakout, it's obviously Hufunga.
true. Yeah.
Um, you know, I just feel good that don't really, you know, need a handout. I don't think I might need a no apologies. Yeah, no apologies for me to really anybody, but yeah. So breakout would be Hufunga. Um, absolutely, man. It's kind of I'm trying to think about anybody else who's just like a
I,
really.
go
Oh,
ahead.
go ahead, bro.
Well, I was just gonna say, here's a sneaky one, and this one's maybe not. This was probably expected, but this is a guy that was injured a lot of last year, Dre Greenlaw. He's been
Bang.
flying on the field. I like
Oh yeah.
what he's been
Oh
doing this
yeah.
year.
Hey, yeah. That's a very, very good one. I mean, he's reminding me of like Draymond Green. It's like
Great role
because
player. Yeah.
we have seen that aggressiveness and that heart. There's a fine line between we've seen him go too far, Greenlaw, and then get stupid penalties. Or that
Yeah.
ejection, I didn't like it. I don't think it should have been an ejection, but we've seen him live by it and die by it. But it's kind of like Draymond Green, like he'll get his technicals or he'll get thrown out of games. But it's like doesn't do if he wasn't that dog and if he wasn't that guy with that kind of heart, the Warriors aren't winning all those championships. You know, if Greenlaw isn't that kind of a dog, I mean, he's a defender, he's a linebacker. So I love to see him, you know, just do what he's doing. And this man is a tackling machine flying all over the field. Um, Yeah, I've liked him ever since we drafted him before he even started playing for us. Just he has some pretty good stories. He's just off of the field, he's just that natural defender and protector. There was a story in college. I won't get into it because I don't know all the details, but he did some little heroic type stuff. So check out Dre Greenlaw because he's dope. So that's a
Yeah,
great pick. Great pick.
for sure. I mean, Hufanga, especially with him and Banks,
Thanks.
we
Like
were
that.
all like,
Yeah.
we're doubting their like picks, like we're doubting the 49ers front office. And it just turns out that they're like super conservative. And I don't know why. I mean, maybe it's for the better. But like Hufanga, wow. Like what a jump. I don't think he was like ever since that Green Bay Packer where he picked up the punt and
Yeah.
returned it. Yeah, in the I believe it was the divisional round. I knew he was going to be a good player, but
Yeah.
it was always a mystery why they sat those two guys out. Banks did have injuries earlier on, but these two guys have really come in clutch and kind of saved our season, and they're healthy all the time. They're consistently healthy. So if you go back to that draft, those are the two best picks. And then in between that, they had like Sermon and Ambry Thomas and Lenore, like by far the two best picks, and kind of picks that we didn't get at the time, but now it's like, wow, like first, like
Yes.
I think Hufanga gets his first Pro Bowl this year, but the Pro Bowl is a
Say,
joke because
hey
people
man,
vote.
hey Aaron
So
Banks, hey, if Aaron Banks keeps doing what he's doing, man, I don't see a reason why he can't be an All Pro. I mean, he
true.
hasn't given up a single like. How much better can you be than what Aaron Banks is doing right now? There was a little things about Hufanga and his tackling, but that was after a concussion scare. Who knows really the
True.
severity? So of course, I'm looking at it like, nah, hey, calm it down, slow it down. I'd rather see you miss a couple of tackles than be out for a few weeks. You know what I'm saying? So there's a fine line there. But another thing about Hufanga, he has 4 interceptions, and we haven't had a guy that's had 5 interceptions since 2014. We were talking a lot about this in the offseason as well, just the importance of that ball hawk cornerbacks and how it helps out Super Bowls, just
Mm-hmm.
those game changing plays. I'm pretty sure, yeah, we did a show where it was specifically talking about that. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Yep.
and then so 2014 was the last time we've had 5 interceptions, which I mean, that's kind of a while ago. And then 6 interceptions was 2011. And the most we've ever had is 10 by Rodney Lott. And I believe it's Dave Baker. But hey, man, he's trending. He's getting into a conversation of doing something that hasn't been done for a San Francisco 49er in a decade. 2 more picks, and that hasn't been done in 11 years. So hey, man, amazing job, Hufanga. I think the biggest thing about it in this world where it's like instant gratification, we want to see it now.
Right.
So I think the thing about it is when there's a question mark labeled to someone, it's going to immediately go to doubt and
Mm-hmm.
fear. And we haven't seen it. It's like, hold on, why does it have to be this player might not be good if it's a question mark? Hey, maybe he's gonna, I know people get nervous to say he could be great because what if he isn't? But it's like, so hey, if you're wrong, you're wrong. It's like, you know what I'm saying? It's like if if I believe something, I'm gonna say it. And if I'm wrong, I'll admit it. It's no biggie.
Yeah. Yeah. That's true. That's true. Uh, Yeah, definitely interesting. Good picks by the Niners. But let's move on a little bit to the topics. David McNew says, "What up, Camper and Rich?" He's become a regular, so thank you so much for the support. Grandizer,
David McNew coming through.
yeah, he and another regular Grandizer. 49ers remaining schedule: Arizona, New Orleans, Miami, Tampa Bay, Seattle, Washington, Las Vegas, Arizona. Yeah, I thought this schedule was
Oh,
hard, but it is
let's
ready
go.
made. It's even easier than last year, probably. So
And we've lost some bad games this year, but I don't feel like man, I feel like we are just going to get into a good stride. I
we're
feel
over
like we're
that.
gonna
Yeah.
stay. I feel like we're gonna continue to not be undisciplined, And I think I can't remember exactly where our offense is, but I would figure that they're going to get into a good rhythm as well. So, hey man, all signs are pointing up. That's
Yeah,
the way I see it.
for sure. Trey Lance is on his feet. Yeah, I saw that. Would be nice to have him back as insurance. Jimmy G is not reliable. Yeah, in the playoffs, especially if they face like Eagles second round or whatever, if they like in the playoffs, there's going to be guys gunning for him that we really haven't faced yet. I'm looking at Micah Parsons, guys like that. Yeah, I don't know. I don't want to wish it on him, but yeah, there's a good chance, for sure. And then we have No Border Sports coming in. Good evening, all.
Yee. What's up, Brian?
Yeah. Well, let's get to the next one. So we talked about the defense, and you were kind of reserving some things. Will this defense be enough to make them a contender to really, maybe not for the Super Bowl, but to make a run in the playoffs, at least like they did last year? I'll start real quick. I think so. Well, it depends because I feel like they need to get a little bit more takeaways. The last two games really, I think after that interception, before that interception, they said no, after the interception, they said if he wouldn't have had that interception, it would have been like 3 straight games that they wouldn't have had a takeaway. So they need to change that a little bit. And really this is a big unknown because they haven't really played any too powerful offenses the last 2 weeks. So I'm not really sure, but I think so if they can just improve and get some more takeaways.
Absolutely, man. That was another one of my major factors and keys to the game. I think I did 5 keys to the game, and it was turnovers. We
Right.
need to see this defense get back on it because I was alluding to it too before the Chargers game. Hey, we haven't seen the turnovers like we did in the beginning of the year, or more a little not the very. How do I say it? Once we got into a good rhythm, we started really getting turnovers, but we still didn't have a ton. Like I think it was 6 interceptions, 3 fumbles, and now it's I believe 7 interceptions. But that was one of my main things. We still didn't get it until the very very end. But hey, we got it. I feel like a lot of Super Bowl contending teams definitely have a great ratio on the turnover margin. That's a more than just like the turnover. I feel like it's just a momentum swing, because sometimes if you don't get the turnover, that let's say you hold them to 3 and out, that's almost just as good. But that turnover, it's like it really drives the momentum, for the entire team. You get sparked, you get juiced up. And but I think this defense can be good enough if we're healthy. If Eric Armstead is healthy, I'm just kind of acting like Kinlaw ain't even there because it's like
Yeah.
if we do get him, I believe there is a little piece of me that really does believe he could come back and stay back, could come back and stay there when it truly matters. But I'm gonna just kind of keep that calm for right now. But if we stay healthy, man, and let's say Drake Jackson continues to improve, let's say toward the end of the year we're starting to trust Womack a little bit. If a couple of things happen, I think this defense can be at the end of the year playing at an elite level. You know what I'm saying? And I think we've weathered the storm pretty well for not having an Eric Armstead, not having a Kinlaw. Bosa was out for one of those games. There was one game where we were playing uh Flanagan Fowles and we were playing who
Yeah.
else? Oren Burks. There was a
Yeah.
couple games where things got a little, wishy-washy. And so I think we kind of done it. Beside if I take out the KC game, and this defense has done amazing. D'Amico Ryans has done an amazing job. Back to back weeks, we have shut the teams out in the second half, put up zeros versus the Rams and the Chargers. So hey,
Right.
we're doing. They are doing their job. They're flying around. We got a lot of dogs on the team, and so it's fun. I think we could definitely be Super Bowl contenders. I'll be bold about it just because we got the dogs, we got the heart, we got the fight. We've been there before. We got the experience. We have the talent. We just have to play discipline and stay healthy and want it. You know what I'm saying? And we could do it. So
Yeah, that's true. I think what like the Chargers have a good offensive line, top 5. They have Slater, who they got a few years ago, has played really well. And you saw like Nick Bosa at the end of that game was a major force. Yeah, like there was a lot of times where Justin Herbert had to roll out, got a little pressure, and there was also times like that last drive. There was a few plays I saw where Nick Bosa wasn't on, and Omenihu was getting pressure, and I think
mhm.
Omenihu actually went out, like was injured, and then came back in, so that was good. But I mean, this is a quick rabbit trail, but Justin Herbert, arm talent, I mean, wow. Like there was this one play, I think you remember it, where he was like sliding left, and then he threw it to his right, like across the
Yeah.
opposite end of the field into a tight window. Wow, that guy is. I think somebody like Kyle Shanahan, if he could have him, that would be impressive.
Hey,
That would
but
be
hey, see, check this out though. See, I think people forget though, man. Look at some of those throws that Trey made versus Chicago.
true,
Like,
true.
hey, Justin Herbert's been in the league how long? You know what I'm saying? But look at some of these highlights we've seen of Trey Lance in practice, and I know it's practice, but we've seen it. Look at what he did versus the Texans. He had a couple of
Right.
wild throws, but just God, watch Trey has that ability. Trey has that ability, man, to he has the physical attributes, the mental attributes, and hey, let's just be patient. And I think, it's easy to get a little it's easy to feel like the optimism of what could be with Trey. If it's easy to how could I say for it to die, kinda, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because he isn't there. You know what I'm saying? We're watching Jimmy, so it just feels a certain way, but I feel like he's gonna be back. He's gonna do great. I can't freaking wait, man. And you know, I would not be mad to see Jimmy win us a freaking Super Bowl either.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, any Super Bowl is great. I think the talent on this defense, like we were talking about last topic, is almost more than what we had in that Super Bowl year. So it very well could be. Um, let's see here. So let's get into just a few of these comments, and then we can get up to the next buy or sell. Uh, let's see. Hopefully we barbecue them red chickens. No slow roasting this game. Yeah, yeah, we'll get into the keys for that game at the in a few topics. Tell him Keltz. Yeah, yeah. I really want to see that Trey Lance magic happen. He's a good kid too, so he's worked for it and would definitely want to see that happen.
He's
Um,
coming back. He's coming back. He's gonna come back strong, man. I believe it. But yes,
yeah.
sir.
The one thing I would want is if Jimmy does get injured, do it in the regular season, because I feel like that would be feeding him to the wolves if he comes back first game in the playoffs. I don't know. That would be scary. But yeah.
It's happened before. I drew one comparison, man, and I know there's a lot of different similarities, but um, y'all could check it out on my channel if y'all want to, because I'll be talking for like a whole hour about it if I got into it. But Bob Greasy, man, he broke his ankle week 5, came back 77 days later. That's 11 weeks. He came back in the AFC Championship game and at halftime, and not even due to injury. The game was tied up 7-7, 1972. And so the game was tied 7-7 in Pittsburgh versus Terry Bradshaw, the Steel Curtain. And so Don Shula just knew he needed a spark. It's not like they were down by 2 touchdowns, and probably the gutsiest call ever in NFL history for a halftime adjustment. I went running, rambling on about it on my channel,
Yeah.
so y'all could check it out.
Yep. Check out his channel for sure. Link in the description, as well as his Twitter, also in the description. Let's do a rapid fire buy or sell though. And we have three buy or sells. The first one is McGlinchey keeps his roster spot for the rest of the season after a terrible performance by the Chargers, where basically like Khalil Mack was in the backfield a lot. I feel for Jimmy's life if they would have had Joey Bosa as well, and we were frankly a little bit lucky that they didn't have him playing that day because that would have been scary. And I think with Joey Bosa, they probably would have won that game. So yeah, McGlinchey keeps his job for the rest of the season.
Man, this one's kind of tough. You know what? One thing I will say about McGlinchey is, man, has he missed a game? I don't believe he's missed a game.
No.
And on top of that, it was a
This
question.
season because he did last season,
Yeah,
obviously.
this season, because it was a question mark whether or not, I mean, he tore his whole muscle off of his thigh bone or whatever it was. But I mean, like, it's kind of remarkable that he's been able, because I remember right before the season started, it was like, uh-oh, he's not looking good.
Yeah,
Uh-oh, is he even going to be able to play? Is his career done? Some people were saying. And hey, man, hey, man, he stayed healthy. But I have a feeling at some point in time, God, buy or sell. You know what? I think it possibly could be to injury or something like that, but I'm going to sell it. I'm going to sell him. I could see a McKivitz or a Moore or whoever they might throw out
true.
there, a Brungskill, whatever it is, however it is. I think if we see enough of these spin moves, like offensive linemen are not supposed to be doing spin moves ever. So
There's so many times where, like, in run, well, there was a few times where they would run the ball, and this guy would beat him to the edge, and
oh
he just, like,
Lord.
turn around and, like, try to, do
The
something. And I'm
lost.
gonna
That man was lost. That man has been lost quite a few times. He's out there doing, what's it called, pirouettes. He's doing 360s.
Yeah.
He's lunging. I seen it very early in the season. Like, why is he lunging at people on pass plays? Like, I'm not an offensive line expert, but I'm pretty sure just the normal amount of common sense would tell you, to do things a certain way to protect your men. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know. I know he's been in the league long enough. It's not about no injuries. There's just some fundamental issues and some just mental brain farts, bro. So on this one, I'm gonna sell it. Uh,
Yeah.
Hopefully someone doesn't get like a horrible injury because one of his brain farts. That's one big thing I've been thinking about.
Yeah, yeah. I'll probably sell as well. I just don't know if there's a guy that they trust more. But maybe he's a little banged up towards the end of the season. They definitely could. I just don't know. Like, it's midway through the season. I could see the game where he gets even more exposed versus the Buccaneers. They have a lot. They have Shaq Barrett. They have guys that could get after the quarterback there. Jason Pierre-Paul, which I think he's more of a defensive tackle. But yeah, so I could see maybe, but I don't know. If an injury to Jimmy Garoppolo is going to come, I think it's going to be from that side for sure. Like, yeah, I'm a little scared. But
Yeah.
uh next one, yeah, next one. The 49ers start to use George Kittle more. I think it was one target, one catch last game.
Are we gonna use him more? Yeah, I'm gonna buy it. I'm gonna buy it. I'm gonna buy it because there's just gonna be certain matchups. I feel like with all these pieces, Kyle is always going to, the more Brandon Ayuk is evolving, that's gonna be less touches for people. And now you got CMC, Elijah Mitchell, Samuel. So it almost sounds like I'm making the argument that he won't. I'm selling it, but I feel like there's going to be times where he's gonna have his games. He's gonna do his part. I feel like he's really just being that team guy at the same time right now. He's like, hey man, hey, as long as we're winning. Now,
Yeah,
if y'all ain't giving me the ball at all and we're scoring, ironically 23 points, we didn't even hit that last game, but that was the comments he made when we scored 23 points. Ayuk and him were the two guys like, hey man, we got it. I feel like if we're winning and we're being productive, he's not going to care about his touches too much. You know what I'm saying? But I'm going to buy that he's going to have a couple of big games with the 8 games remaining.
yeah, true. I'll probably buy that as well. I think Kyle likes to go back and forth between targets. I do want to see a little bit more creativity. Again, when they did when they did try to do play actions, it got blown up quite a bit against the Chargers. I think it led one time in a sack. So
Man, I think the one you're talking about, I was on live, and so I was doing the play-by-play, and right before it happened, I was like, "Man, we need to switch it up, man. I want to see a play action on first down. Like, man, like let's try to catch him off
yeah,
guard. Do play action first down, and sure enough, like seconds later, we do a play action first down. And I think it was that sack play. I was like, well, yeah, that didn't work too well. Never mind what I'm talking about. Hey, I didn't want to see the play action like that where you're rolling straight.
but at least get Jimmy in space with like a bootleg and kick it out to George Kittle or something like that. I don't know, but find
Yeah,
ways to get him involved. I think there's ways, and I mean, you're Kyle Shanahan, get it done. So
get
I'm
it
gonna
done.
buy that.
Get
I'm gonna buy that.
get it done, son.
Yeah. Well, let's move on. So Brennan Ayuk, he's at 367 yards. Um, and he's had like 4 consecutive 80+ yard games. And he still has 8 games left in the season. Buy or sell that Brandon Ayuk gets 1,000 yards this season.
I am buying it. I'm buying it, buying it, buying it. He is probably, man, I think the way he's ascending,
Mm-hmm.
the work ethic that he's putting in, I think he's arguably our best offensive player. You know, I don't care what kind of pushback I might get toward that. When you just look at just he's gotten stronger, his routes have gotten crisper. Like everything about him is just leveling up. The maturity, just all of it, all of it. He's being on the field, off the field, practice. You know what I'm saying? Just I mean,
Yeah.
last year he was in the doghouse, you know what I'm saying? And I'm trying to think. This is his third year, right? This is his third
Uh,
year. This is his I'm pretty sure this is his third year. And typically that's when you see if people are going to
yeah.
continue to keep, and I feel like he's that dude that's just going to keep working at it and working at it. And we just talked about Kittle, and guys like Kittle are probably going to get older. You know, they're probably, I'm not saying we've seen the last of Kittle, but I could see Kittle maybe staying where he is and Brandon Ayuk continuing to just level up. Another thing with Debo, I don't know. I think Debo could do what he did again last year, maybe not number wise because all the pieces around him, but I think he could still have that impact. But I don't think we're going to see another notch of Debo. That's just my opinion. I think, just with his age and the way he's working, man, I'm buying a uke to the fullest, my man.
I think it it brings up a really good point. Do they trade some because I don't know if he has a breakout season, you can extend him for very much money when you have Debo and George Kittle and whatever. That brings up a very good point. Do you think they like trade George Kittle or some bigger player that is getting older, draft a tight end? I don't know, but it brings up a good
Something.
point. Tough choice because it's like you're not going to be able to really sign Kittle. I mean, Ayuk to a huge deal. I wouldn't think so. So either he takes a team friendly deal, but I really don't think that's happening. First big contract. You know, there's always a chance in the NFL where you fall off, so you need to cash in now. But yeah, I'm definitely buying this. Again, I think a lot of teams are still hung up on, oh, Debo can beat us deep. He can get a big play. So they're double covering him. They're keeping their eyes on him. And now you have Ayuk with all the one-on-one matchups, as you saw against the Chargers. I mean, that corner blocking Ayuk was almost a liability at some points of that game. He was consistently getting open, Ayuk. So I definitely think that with the one-on-one matchups, even though he's a better receiver, I think right now than Debo Samuel, still a lot of teams are fearful of what Debo Samuel will do to them and did to them last year. So it's like he's getting a lot of opportunity in this system, and maybe he does take a team friendly deal because he's like, okay, I've got all this extra. Like I'm getting consistently one-on-one matchups. I'm gonna have great consistently good seasons here because I'm not getting double cover. So
I could definitely see them choosing Ayuk. If push came to shove, I could see them choosing Ayuk just because he's a little bit younger. Seems like he typically always stays healthy. He's continuing to work hecka hard. He's coming in training camp in shape. You know what I'm saying? When you just start factoring age, in shape, staying healthy, he's probably going to match up really well with Trey Lance. And then we added CMC. So I feel
yeah,
like having CMC, having Ayuk, I feel like you know those it would be easier to see a Kittle or a Debo you know, not here.
right,
You know, of course, they're
right.
favorites, this, that, and the other. Man, you know, in a perfect world, we want to see us keep every single one of them, but that might, you know, it's a business at the beginning, middle, and end of the day. So at some point in time, someone might have to go.
Yeah, true. Good point.
Yep.
But let's get into keys. Well, real quick, let's get into the comments a little bit. Um, let's see, where did we leave off from? Uh, but if they haven't sat him by now, they won't. Oh yeah, that's McGlinchey. How many block equal a game? How many? I don't know. How many block equal a
I
game?
also seen my man. I don't know if you seen
Blocks.
him before. I also see my man Damian Lee was up in the comments. He just said, "What's up,
Oh
Niner family?" That was a while back. But I was just
yeah. Did I
Da
forget him?
Damian Lee says, "What's up, Niner family? What up, my man? If you're still checking us out, good stuff for coming
Yeah.
through."
Yeah, I might have missed yours. I'm sorry because Damian Lee is a regular on the show. So shout out to you. That's my bad.
Yeah.
Um, real quick. And then K Quinn, I might have never seen you. So shout out to you. Salute. That was a while ago, but if you're still around, shout out to you. Looking like a ballerina. That's my
Mc,
that's my glitchy. How do
McFlop.
you think yeah, go yeah.
No, I
Uh
just said McFlop.
Oh man. Who do you think will be the game's MVP for both the defense and offensive side of the football for the Cardinals game? This is a great segue to keys for the Cardinals game. What are your keys for this game? And then let's add this comment in. Um, man, yeah, this is going to be an interesting game. It's being played in Mexico City, Monday
Mhm.
Night Football, which I don't really like Monday night games because I might actually thing that sucks is I have practice next week from 6 to 8. And the game is 6:15 here. So
Dang.
I'm gonna miss like a good part
And
of it,
and
which
and
kind
you
of
play
sucks.
basketball, right?
Yeah, basketball in the winter. Yeah, so
Yeah, my son plays basketball as well, man. Um yeah, I can't even give you no advice about that one. It might not be good advice, but I know what I would do. Or no, hey, back in those days, nah, if I had practice, I don't know. That would be tough. That's
I
a
would
tough
be
call,
like,
man.
"Coach, I have an emergency crown needing to be put in. I need to
Yeah,
miss."
I got a hangnail, man. I got a hangnail. It's severe. It's painful. No.
Yeah. Anyways, what are your keys?
The MVP on both sides, man. I have not thought about this whatsoever, but I feel like we're gonna get some kind of redemption. Is it gonna be Colt McCoy? I hope it is Colt McCoy, just so
He's
we could just.
expected Go ahead.
I
I'll
hope
look
it
it up, but I
is.
think Murray's playing.
I always want to see us face the best, and to be honest,
Mhm.
people will probably call me crazy. I don't know who's better from Kyler Murray or Colt McCoy. You know what I'm saying? It's easy to be like, "Oh my God, how could you say that? Kyler this." Hey man, I bet if I sat down and really dissected tape and really looked at their stats,
Mhm.
there possibly could be an argument. But
True.
regardless of that, I would love to see us get redemption versus Colt McCoy because they put a beating on us at home last year,
Yeah.
and Colt McCoy was the main reason, looking just sharp, throwing beautiful passes. So I would love to see either Kyler or Colt McCoy trying to take advantage with D Hop and the receivers they got over there. I would love to see some more interceptions, man, fumbles,
Yep.
turnovers. You know, we got to turn the thing over. And Man, Imma just say Hufanga, man. I wanna see it Hufanga keep stacking. I wanna see Hufanga be the one that just has 7 or 8 picks. Um, I would love to get an interception. I don't care who it is. It could be Drake Jackson tipping the ball up to himself, you know what I'm saying? But I'm gonna just go ahead and say Hufanga, and then on offense, I'm gonna say CMC is gonna come back and have another big game because he didn't last week, and I feel like that's kind of Kyle Shanahan's mo. Whoever kind of didn't do something as much
Yeah.
last week, maybe all of a sudden you're gonna see something huge. Or hey, now I'm starting to think about Kittle. We seen Kittle with 1 catch. You know, I'm kind of thinking about who do they got back there. One of their best defenders is
They've got
Buda
Simmons
Baker.
as well. Simmons
Okay,
is a really good linebacker. One of the
okay.
yeah,
So
so
that
I don't
might be more tough. That might be a little bit tougher
yeah.
for someone like Kittle when you have a Buda Baker, when you have a Simmons. Um, it'll be interesting, but I'll say CMC and Hufanga.
Yeah, yeah, that's a good point. I'm gonna go. They have not had a very good run game, allowing 4.5 yards per carry. So I'm gonna go either one of the running backs. I want to see them split carries like they did against the Chargers. That was fun to watch. You had CMC leading them early, and then Elijah Mitchell really providing that spark, and that was the thing that really changed that game. So I want to see that again. Um, I think a big matchup is DeAndre Hopkins, who in the past
Mm,
has been known to rip us. I remember that week 1 game in 2020 when he had like 18 targets, 14 catches, absolutely shredded us. That was the worst. But we have a better corner, and
yeah,
I
no.
would imagine that they say Charvarius Ward, you're gonna stick to him like glue. Like
Oh
you
yeah, oh
have to,
yeah.
yeah.
And just there, it feels like their statures and the size, just their body types. Both of those guys, I feel like it favors Kavarius because they're very similar. I feel like in
Mhm.
height and build and whatnot. So I feel like whenever you're real similar like that, it's going to be hard for like a Hopkins to
Yeah.
really like dominate. You know,
He's not like a speedy receiver. Now a guy that is Rondale Moore. That's a guy that has really been coming on strong. He had a good game. I think I can pull up the numbers right now. Rondale Moore, yes, 13 targets, 9 receptions, 94 yards. Good game for him. And back to the point with Kyler Murray, he said Cliff Kingsbury said that he would make a decision like game day. So it's up in the air. So we'll see. We'll see. Should be interesting. This is another one of those matchups with the Chargers where they're giving up a lot of yards per carry to teams. So this is a good matchup for the 49ers where I think they could control it at the line of scrimmage and kind of run it down their throat. Overall, the Cardinals defense has not been very good, except last week they beat up on the Rams, but the Rams are terrible. So
oh man, that meltdown is so sweet, so beautiful. Like, I mean, hey, they were talking for you know. I'm pretty sure you came across a few Ram or two, you know, even in your chat. You
yeah.
know what
Oh
I'm
yeah.
saying? And I mean, they were relentless on every single YouTube channel for months, and it's just a beautiful thing.
Yeah, it is. And I mean, I do shows with Peo Time, so it's like I want to keep it respectful. But I have had a few people come in. It was like right before week 1. This guy was like, "You guys suck. The 49ers winning." He was like a troll.
Yeah.
But it was like, man, yeah, it is nice for sure. And this is probably in the last few years, this is the biggest collapse from a Super Bowl team that I've seen in a while. Because
Y-
usually Super Bowl teams come back and at least have a decent season.
You know what the difference is, though? I'm
Mhm.
pretty sure if we won a Super Bowl, you would not
Mhm.
catch. I don't know. Maybe we do have some weird, some weirdness, some weird faithful that would. Um, I just feel like we would not see a whole bunch of our fans going into Rams
Mhm.
chats. You know what I'm saying? I don't know.
That's true.
Maybe it does happen, and I just don't know it because I'm not there to see it. But
May
I think,
maybe like
yeah,
Tommy Huxley or somebody like that.
yeah.
You know him?
Who knows? Yeah, I'm kind of thinking about all of it. Like, maybe I should pump the brakes on that one. But man,
Yeah.
just the way they did it, it was like every day and every night. Like, like I wouldn't go to a channel for a while. I'd come back a month later, like, holy crap, like Marketing Pro is still in here. Like, like Jesus Christ, these guys are relentless. Like,
Yeah. Uh, before we go, Grandizer 12, 49ers versus Cardinals Mexico game. Habla Espanol. Yes. Do you think I think there's going to be a vast majority of 49ers fans more than Cardinals,
oh
because
yeah,
I've looked up like the fan bases and we're actually like really big in Mexico.
oh yeah. Hey man, we won 5 Super Bowls and the 49ers are worldwide. Like, um,
True.
we truly are worldwide. Like the faithful, like it is no joke, man. State to state to state, Germany, Australia, like it's real. And I know for a fact the Cardinals, respect to them and all that, but you know, they're not on the 49er faithful
No.
caliber, not even close.
So it's going to be, wait, so does this count as our away game? It does, right? No, a
Uh,
home game.
I'm not I'm
I can
not
look up here.
sure. I know
I
it's
can
gonna be a home game, but, yeah, I'm not sure, yeah, I don't have
There
any.
was a guy that laid out the remaining schedule. Yeah, at Arizona. So yes, this is count
So
as
this
our
is a
home
road
game.
game. Oh, so this counts for us for a home game?
Yeah. Yeah, for the
Okay,
Cardinals home game, because the next matchup,
okay.
Grandizer laid it up earlier on. It's at Cardinals. So it's not great. I mean, you don't never want to see that, but I mean, it's whatever. So
It is what it
yeah,
is. A majority of our games are home games. So, I mean, not all NFL teams got that luxury, so that's pretty dope.
real quick, before we let you go, 49ers favored by 8, over under is 43.5. We kind of do this every quick rapid fire. I'm gonna say that's 20. That's 22, almost 22 points for each team. I'm gonna say slightly over that, because that's 44. That's 22 point. Yeah, I'm gonna say over. I think I think the Cardinals defense isn't good enough to stop. I don't know.
Yeah, I wanna say over, but then I just think about Kyle's slow pace, and then I think about
That's
how
true.
good our defense could be, and it's a division rival, and we know this team, and it could be it could easily be another game just like the Chargers. Like,
Yeah.
and then watch this be the game where we just mollywop them and just like put a beat down on them. The beat down that we were supposed to get versus the Chargers that a lot of us expected. Watch this be the 34-17 mollywhopping. And this one's tough, man. And it's in Mexico City, so that kind of makes me feel like sometimes when you go
True.
outside, I feel like whenever you travel, you never see just really, really efficient, high scoring games. There's a little bit of uncomfortableness. Even if it is exciting, there's a little bit of um just uncomfortableness, I feel like.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna
I
go ahead and say under for now. It could switch in the next couple of days.
True. I would like to see if that grass. I want to know. I'm gonna look it up afterwards, but I want to know if that grass is real or not.
Good point. Good point. Look at what that field looks
Um,
like.
yeah. Uh, Keltz, nah, you got tons of 49ers fans trolling Rudy, aka Ramelia, all the time. I moderate for him. It's bad. However, Rudy trolls the 49ers content creators.
He might have invoked that. I don't know. I don't know the story
He
about
did.
it.
I think he did.
Nah,
Because
and
for months he would
hey,
call
I
into
got a
Grant Cohn's
question for
show.
Grandizer. And Rudy seems like the kind of guy that might appreciate it, because some people,
Yeah.
because everybody's different, right? Like some people are like, "Oh my God, there's a troll in here." Nope, I'm blocking him right now. I don't even want to see a Seahawk fan. And then there's some guys who, are like, and then there's everything in between. Me personally, I've had a couple of haters come through, and I'm not gonna lie, I kind of enjoy it.
Yeah, me too.
I think it makes for a better show. I think
True.
I kind of get a little excited, and it makes me start. I don't know, when I get upset or nervous or scared or anything like that, I kind of start laughing and smiling. It's a weird, maybe it's a nervous like tick I got or whatever. But like sometimes even if I don't know, I just like get juiced up. It makes me like competitive almost. Like, hey, let me see if I could come with a good comeback on this person. But then if they come through and they're respectful, I love it, man. I love to be cool with anybody, man. It's they love their teams just like we love our teams. But if it's like you're doing too much and you're starting to just be annoying, if
Yeah.
you're if it comes to being annoying, it's like, all right, I've had enough of this. Or if it's hateful, if it's really just hateful and just unnecessary crap, because there's a certain way to do it to like have fun with it, I guess.
Yeah, no, that I completely agree. Um, really, unless there's like a lot of like maybe profanity and like insulting other people, then I'll block
Absolutely.
them. But
Yeah.
then, but I mean, most of the time, I won't. Um, yes, Rudy does troll. He's bad. He was going to troll Ben here and asked him to.
Come
Hey,
on.
I enjoy it, man. That's it helps me because that's another viewer on the live stream that's already like, so I don't care. I mean, honestly, unless it's bad, I don't
As
really
long
care. Yeah,
as I don't know, even if it's a guy that man, it's easy to read text and blow stuff out of proportion. But
right.
I could see like it almost makes me want to do a show. We don't play the Rams again, but I'm sure, maybe I'll hit up Rudy one day and
I think he has a Twitter. He used to not, but
as long as
um
I don't have to hear the history lessons about the Rams. Like if we could actually chop it up about football and it doesn't have to be, oh, I'm gonna win you and I'm gonna come with great points and I'm gonna do better than you. I'm gonna either do better than you or I'm gonna tell you something somehow. Like, I don't know. I'm kind of, hey, if we could just chop it up and have a good discussion and maybe, you know what I'm saying? Learn something, have fun. You know what I'm saying? That's a little different. But some guys really try to
yeah.
flex their cojones. For I don't know. I mean, I could if I wanted to, but I'm good off all that.
Yeah. Well, this has been a fun show. Keltz, let him know what I think you have a show after this, so I'm gonna let you go, but let him know what it is, where you can find it, and yeah.
Man, I haven't heard that in a minute. Hey, let them know what it is. Hey, I like that. I like that. Yeah, so it's Keltz Chronicle. Just hit me up at Keltz Chronicle. If you can't find me through Keltz Chronicle, you can always type in Rich
Link
Keltz.
in
Like
description.
it. Yeah, man. So on Mondays, we do a show 49ers straight out of the Bay, me and three other gentlemen. And it's Jay in the Bay Area baller, Amin the
I
Dream.
mean, yeah.
Yee. So you got to sub to all of us because we rotate the channels. Hey, man, we'll get you on as a guest too if you're ever down.
Yeah, for sure.
And then tonight we're doing a show on Niner Sickness Podcast, Beto, where it's Last Man Standing. That's me and four other guys, where we just do NFL predictions. It's kind of cool because we talk about every team basically. We go through every single game, make our predictions, give little short reasons on why we're picking these teams. And then after that, Ryan G. Hensley, he also does a show with Grant Cohn. He has a morning show where I'm on every Tuesday morning at around 8:30. So I'm kind of just doing a lot of little things here and there, and I'm gonna start mixing in live shows on my channel. Drop the link, do little call-ins and whatnot. It's all love. It's all about the 49ers. And just having a good time, spreading some stuff, trying to learn some stuff, get encouraged and all that good stuff, man. So come through and yeah, support my man Benjamin because he does a great job and I see how he's growing in this thing. And it's just really cool to see uh the 49er faithful family community just rise up like that. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
Everywhere. Anybody everywhere, all of it. So it's dope. I appreciate you having me on. I know we'll do it again.
Yeah, for
Uh
sure.
we absolutely will, man. Anytime, every time. And 49er faithful, rise up. Yee.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so as for me, I'll probably be going on this Saturday, talking a little bit of NFL, maybe making some game picks. We'll see if I have a guest on. And then Grandizer, before we go, does bring up a good point. Benny, please get platform 246 on your stream. You like Fat Chat 49ers too. You said that before, and I actually forgot. So I'm going to quickly take a picture of this chat so I will not forget it again. Let's see here. Okay, there we go. And then CG Ruthless Sports, go support his channel as well. 49ers Talk. Hello, everyone. And yeah, so we'll be out. Have a good rest of your night. I'll see you on Saturday, and go check out Keltz's channel. Peace out.
Peace.